Hello, and welcome to another round of Sarah's Question Time. And today's question time has come to me from a few publications that wanted me to write about the importance of play in the workplace. So essentially, the question is, Sarah, how does play help you to be better at work? Interesting question. Glad you asked. And the answer is grounded in neuroscience. So the headline here is play can be used to enhance performance, creativity, innovation, all of which are essential to stand out in the workplace as an individual or as a leader or as a team, and also essential for a company to stand out in the marketplace. Now, obviously, the problem is that the older we get, the more people say stuff to us like, get real, be serious, and we tend to lose that playfulness, that curiosity, that sense of wonder that children have. And children actually learn a lot through play, and adults can too. And it can make you better at what you do. So, an example of that I like to give is the example of Einstein. So, he was well known for his mischievousness, but that mischievousness also contributed to his genius because obviously he made remarkable discoveries. He was not afraid to experiment and approach things with curiosity as a child would. He asked questions, he played around with ideas and concepts. He basically approached the world with relentless curiosity. And we can learn something from that. So, in the course of work and solving complex problems, you are inevitably going to come up against stuff that is boring, repetitive, monotonous until you hit upon a solution. And if you take all of that too seriously, it can be tremendously demotivating. But when you start to make it into a game, you shift your perception in relation to it. And by shifting your perception, you open up new ways of thinking and new possibilities. So it's about how you see things. And of course, another thing that you will probably notice in today's world, everything is gamified a lot. And that's for a reason, to keep people engaged and motivated along for the journey. So, what are some of the benefits of play at work? Without going into too much detail here, I'm just going to cover off a few core things that are brain related. So, play activates the dopamine system in the brain. Dopamine is associated with feeling good. So, it's involved in the brain's reward system, and when triggered, it helps to increase motivation. Again, another issue today is that we're all chasing these quick dopamine fixes. But in this case of play, enabling you to generate more of that neurotransmitter dopamine in the brain, it's actually incredibly effective. So when your motivation is lagging at work, play and laughter is going to help to give you that much needed boost so you can snap yourself out of whatever's going on and just get on with it. And the other benefit of more dopamine is that dopamine, along with the release of endorphins that you get from play, enhances neuroplasticity. And why is that important? Because neuroplasticity makes the brain more receptive to learning and embedding new skills. So, actually, through play and making things fun, you can rewire the brain to create new neural pathways. Play also primes learning. and emotional regulation. So I've already mentioned the learning capacity is increased because of that enhanced neuroplasticity in the brain. But the hippocampus is also at play here. So the hippocampus is the brain's learning and memory center. And when this is activated through play, you can encode new patterns more effectively. And you'll have seen this in training sessions that you may have had. You'll have had training sessions where you literally were probably wanting to completely fall asleep. And then you will have had, hopefully, you will have had others that were learning, that were fun learning and engaging. And you'll find that the messages from that stick better and people actually want to come back for more. So it doesn't matter if the super serious, dry person is the most amazingly knowledgeable person in the world. If if the people that they're teaching are bored to tears, the chances are that they're not going to be imparting much knowledge to anyone. So another benefit of play is that when you are engaged in play, it provides a really safe environment for positive emotional processing. So, in other words, play also helps you to be more emotionally neutral. If you're in a playful state, you're more likely to not get offended by things that might offend you if you're feeling a bit run down or taking yourself too seriously. So, when you want to have more control over negative emotions, this means that you are more able to make objective and rational decisions. Right? So, play can actually help you to get into an emotionally neutral state. And you may notice that, for example, you have a really tense situation, then someone says something funny and everyone laughs, tension broke, emotions are more regulated, and everyone can get back into what they're actually trying to do there. The other thing that play is really good for is creativity. So in the workplace, it's really common to get stuck in certain ways of doing things. And basically, once you're stuck there, you're like, well, we've always done it this way, it worked, and we believe it will continue to work into the future. Essentially, that's a form of laziness because it's easier to say doing the same thing than to actually say, maybe this needs to be tweaked and do the work to do that. Anyway, that aside, the world is evolving at a rapid pace, so innovation and fresh thinking are key to stand out. And play can help leaders and teams challenge their usual way of thinking. And if that challenge is done in a playful context, that means again, you're less likely to have those really heightened emotions. And the other thing that play can do is help you to get into the flow state. I can perhaps talk about that in more detail in another video, but it is a state associated with absolute optimal performance. So athletes will quite often want to compete in that flow state. And playing at something often sparks a completely different form of creativity than you would have got if you had thought your way or tried to think your way into innovating. So Einstein, for example, used unrelated ideas to spark completely new insights. So he was known to suddenly start playing the violin in the middle of trying to calculate his complex theory and processes. And music actually helped him to stimulate the scientific thought processes that he had. And it's really no accident that a lot of highly successful people have a passion or hobby rather, that helps to stimulate those insights in a work context. So whether it's video games, whether it's music, whether it's sports, By switching off the active brain, doing something different, and doing it with the intention of creating new insights and possibilities, you create space for those new insights to come through, and boom, hey, you start to have more of that creative thought process, that innovative thought process in the work environment.